We believe in the potential of our great nation, and we are deeply committed to promoting economic freedom and social protection as the key drivers of our economic and development. The cornerstone of our manifesto is a focus on creating an enabling environment where we can provide services for our people, improve living standards, and propel Kanifing into the progressive city it should be and on the trajectory on it is. Finally, we pledged to work with stakeholders in the public and private sector to create policies and promote freedom and competitiveness. We are committed to working with citizens across all sectors to advance our economic growth and development. In conclusion, I now have the honor to call on Talib Ahmed Bensouda, who believes our nation has great potential, and we believe by working together, we can unlock this potential and create a brighter future for our citizens. As our slogan says, Nyato, Nyato with development, Nyato with inclusion, and Nyato with Talib. Not just the United Democratic Party's Talib, but the Gambia's Talib, here to launch his manifesto. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. First of all, I'd like to recognize His Excellency, former Vice President, Secretary General, and Party Leader, Mr. representing the Gambia Democratic Congress. I would also like to recognize the members here present representing the National Unity Party, led by Mr. Abdullah Jammeh, the Gambia Action Party, led by Mr. Musa Bachili, and of course the People's Alliance Party, led by Mr. Ibrahim Tabora Mane. Of course, all the individual politicians who do not subscribe to any party but support our candidacy, I recognize your presence here today. And of course, the Deputy Mayor of KMC, Aja Binta Jane Jallo, and my honorable councillors, who are the backbone and the foundation of the council. All National Assembly members present, welcome to the launching of our manifesto for 2023 to 2028. I said, where whatever we do, we think about the impact of our communities forward. And at the center, at the core, was that the KMC was not a service-driven institution, but was run as a political enterprise for the party at the helm. This was our first task, and we have succeeded in changing KMC to be a service-oriented institution, to be a professional place where all Gambians from different walks of life can come and perform and find a meaning in serving the population and serving the residents. This we have achieved, and this is why today we are able to boast several projects that we have brought about that have become unprecedented in Gambian history. Of course, we have also focused heavily on youths and how to improve their lives. Today, KMC is building 8 facilities that are parks where youths can go and play and train and have their leisurely activities. These parks have been spread around the municipality in communities who have never seen or ever believed that they would have such a facility in their backyard. We are also building the first ever municipal library and also the biggest library in the history of the Gambia. I think this is a project that is where you could go and study, unless you were lucky that your school had such a facility. Now imagine children who live that we have done, but I believe majority of people of KM already have seen and felt them. What we are really here to do today is to talk, not promise as politicians, but to always talk about our plans. Promises are dangerous because if they fail, they become lies. So what we prefer to talk about is what our plans are for the municipality. And based on our track record, we solicit your trust to give us a second mandate so that we can finish our work. Again, going forward, our manifesto would be people-centered, people-centric manifesto. We are about the grassroots, we are about our communities, and this is why councils were created. So we want to focus on areas that bring quality of life or improve the quality of life of dump sites that existed in communities, riverine areas, gutters, abandoned homes, and markets. When we came, we prioritized waste management, but we are glad to say now that this is fixed, we want to move to other areas. At the top of our list this coming 5 years is road infrastructure. We know, based on surveys we have done with our residents in the municipality. Therefore, the council, before we ended this first mandate, have passed a project called the KMRNP, the Carnifing Municipal Road Network Project. This project, which will cost more than $300 million over the next 4 to 5 years, will construct 23 kilometers of roads in our municipality and 6 kilometers worth of drain network. It will connect every ward via bypass routes, and of course, we will ensure where there are schools, mosques, and places of convergence, we will consider road safety with signs and sleeping police to ensure traffic is controlled. We move to the next major item, which is still waste management. As I have said, by next week, we would have completely fixed and arrested waste collection at residences and commercial centers. But of course, processing is still a work in progress. Therefore, the council plans to bring about a project that will recycle more than 80% of waste collected. We will support, of course, small entrepreneurs to build waste management and processing businesses. We will also construct a new weighbridge so that we can weigh and know the amount of tonnage of waste that enters the dump site on a daily basis. We will solicit funding or capital investment from businesses in waste management around the world that we are already in talks with to bring about a transfer station and recycling facility at the Bakote dump site. On our third main agenda, which is a bane for many people, a problem that many of our communities are suffering from, and this is housing. As we know, KMC's population is growing exponentially because this is the place where most Gambians want to live. We have the better facilities, health, education, road, sanitation. Also, the birth rate in KM is very high, causing a big population growth year in, year out. Therefore, it has caused landlords to increase rental prices month on month. Government has not done its part by regulating the rents, by creating price ceilings to ensure that landlords are not exploiting poor residents. Therefore, because of government's lack of intervention, the council wants to embark on an affordable housing program. This affordable housing program will target vulnerable families, such as single mothers with small children, and of course, young families who have just started out. We have begun to set up a company that will build several thousand new homes over the next 10 years. Number 4, we know KMC or the Gambia has a high unemployment rate. Most youths, most families, most people depend on self-employment and street hawking and petty trade to feed their families. They depend on these businesses to pay for their children's school fees and, of course, to pay for their rents and other basic necessities. However, we don't have enough markets to cater for all these vendors, thus causing a problem of street vending. Therefore, KM has already set up a solution called Canifing Municipal Markets. Our councillors and I, over the past 2 years, have set up this company, and we have designed and identified 7 markets that we intend to build around the municipality. This will cost the council over $240 million over the next 5 years. And we have already identified the 7 centers in which we will build these markets. These markets also will be a market of difference. As we have traveled around the world, we have learned from sister municipalities, and we have found in Freetown where markets are being built with daycare centers, because many of the vendors in these markets, especially the women, have small children that they can't afford to leave at home. So therefore, when we build these markets, we will cater for these women by building daycare centers as part of the facilities these markets will provide. Our 5th agenda, of course, is municipal transport. The KM has set up a company called Canifing Municipal Transport. We have tried vigorously to bring about affordable, efficient, accessible transport for our residents. We know government has pushed to bring many buses. We thank them for that and we congratulate them, but we don't think that is still solving the problem, because the buses brought about by government are charging exactly the same fares as public taxis. That is not affordable service. They also don't traverse community roads. They only focus on main highways. They also don't cater for people who are differently abled or elderly. And therefore, the Canifing Municipal Council still believes we have to bring about an urban transport system that is affordable, meaning it is cheaper than public taxis, that is accessible, meaning it will traverse our community roads, and that will also cater for people of differently abled and the elderly. On the last item, which is standard council service, focusing around youths and social services, the council still wants to be a youth-led council and a council that exclusively ensures that our youths are taken care of. The reason we focus on youths, because youths are the engine of any productive society and are the future leaders of tomorrow. Investing in youths means investing in Gambia's future. Neglecting youths means neglecting the future of our country. Therefore, in any project that we embark on, we will ensure that we prioritize youth employment. We will ensure that it has a youth focus to ensure our youth learned from information. We want to ensure that there is a connection between our residents and these government departments. Therefore, we will assist in guidance and counselorship in how to access government services, etc. Having said all this, we are proud to therefore say the manifesto of Talib Ahmed Bensouda is officially launched. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda. Now we will invite one of our political partners, someone we have found family in, someone whom we have built a great relationship. And this is what we want to encourage, that opposition parties are not enemies, or political parties in general are not enemies, but political parties are partners in development. We would like to invite Honorable Musai Ali Bachili as an endorser to come and say 1 or 2 words on why his party and many other parties and independent members of the public have endorsed Lord Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning to you all. I can speak English very well, but I love to talk to you all in our native language for better understanding. I knew His Excellency, my dad, my good friend, my father, closest ally, His Excellency, the former Vice President of the Republic of Gambia, Bensouda. You, my brother, my partner, young, vibrant, shining diamond for Qatar. The new high table, the new journalists, media fraternity, the new concerned citizens. My news, my big brother too, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Gambia, Adam Barrow. Mandumade endorse individualism or individual. The Made endorse manifesto. The Mawatana Suma young brother be, Manu, what's your visions and mission for KMC? Nuwatan Muwah Manko Deglu. Bumjehe Manako, can you call the media the following day? I will endorse you. So media know my endorse go. With due respect, I'm not UDP, but I respect UDP. But the political maturity buñ am si Gambia dafa wuté. Nit da nga gis nit sa won dom ya ko jur ya ko yar nga jangal ko just interrupt me, Mr. Media. Nga jangal ko bu mënu ta liggéey bi first taw sa taw ya ko jur nga jangal ko nga yar ko nga wax ko lu lekka nga jox ko secret famille bi yépp while the third person bi sa doom bu góor bu ci góor bi second doom bi moo mun a liggéey bi jox ko Mr. Bensouda, the whole Damala Buga endorse, Mandamala endorse gap are consented based on only 3 principles. Bumawatana about your manifesto. Number 1, you put Gambia first before anything. I'm going to show you Gambia. Langa tolerance, langa true confidence, langa mun. True confidence, there's no room for jealousy or envy. True confidence, lang they unite it. Former KMC you bari I'm a bantabalenda. But buma to get his office. The mag is all KMC for. Sumano all KMC. Gis na travel yep. I'm not travelist, but gis na yep unity la for the betterment of KMC. Number 2. Gis nga Gambia. They wanna buy politics of deceptions, politics of defante, politics of nahante, politics of sagante. Buma waha mom mu ne mom su fekke ne lol mo tax mu jog, he will resign. KMC, the whole Gambia is KMC. Region Bohalat in the Gambia, Moon KMC. $115 million revenue be. From $115 million to $315 million, a period of 5 years. Nga jelulu, nga invest back to the KMC. Central government. Gange jo a project. Bumawa, one of the political party leader, Mune central government gave a project in Banjul at $38 million, close to $1 billion plus. Nga jox ko si individual ku nga xamne using ko proper. So ko joxe ki 38 million nga jox ko Bensouda, he will transform KMC. KMC degala central government is MPP, KMC current mayor is UDP. UDP plus MPP soon put Gambia at first, there will be no problem. Okay, man I'm a concerned citizen, even though I'm a political leader. I love Gambia at heart. I love Gambia more than Gap. If Gap is coming to dissolve Gambia, let Gap not be. Okay. Bensouda, young manga, you are groomed by our father. Soon Papa B, he loved Gambia at heart. Yes? Man lu ma bëgg a wax tey boobu tey pripio ma bu baax dama foog ne dama ñëw toog pour gis sa manifesto bi dama over kontaan maa ngi la déglu nag what you said lu mu wax si 5 points am bi yëpp everything bu lu wax yëpp is legit. So in the boss, central government so in the boss. Nga da nga easy transport and the same cost is the same. Yo da nga ñëw ta xaalis ñëw lo pour dimbale. Mu ne moom su toogee dafa in the boss transport system bi dina ko easy. Because sometimes so xoolee ñi dafa war a eewu from Brikama. I'm using an example. Mu war a dem liggéey Banjul. Dafa eew 4 o'clock in the morning. It shouldn't be like that. 58 years of independence in ñu fi. 58 years independent you am transport. Kunjo Halis, the Gulama the whole entire Gambia, KMC residency. Suganyo forward the Lento Halis, Bensouda Field Ken, Purmunyo C nomination. People use their own money. People love him at heart. People came. New rally Bianco Bensouda. Gambia Nahantabi, then Kuwarabai. We should not use money. Money you bonen ko do use. Why won't you just that kind of money nga dem just ni problem la. Demba 3 days munuta dem dalis. Halis bolen di ga di use dina hante dundu ga keri jamburi. Residency jellen halisi bi ñoko mom ngeen lekk ngeen jox ko Bensouda. Bensouda joxul ken halis. Bensouda manifesto la jël mu ko wax pour nga jangako. Okay, the only difference I have with the resident of KMC bulina hante re bulina hante ni de man kuma gom believe in me, respect me, come in the policy, put Gambia at heart. Kuda beje guys sunyo sakir, guys nyo fofu de la jo halis, so ko jele, ngalek halis mi ngadem joko guy. You are fooling yourself. At the end of the day, you are fooling yourself. Resident of KMC, look at this shining diamond here. Look at him. No home shining diamond. Allah, the next 5 years, did I call them billion plus. My younger brother, my Lord Mayor, Maluma Lanyan Rek, the Lanyan, now unite the whole entire KMC. In respect of different political parties. You are a concerned citizen, you love Gambia at heart, you respect Gambians, the Gambiar, so go gis nga respect ko. Baw Senu nak moo di leader of UDP. Man ko gërëm di ko ziaré moom tam wara ñëw. I know he knows everything but man ko ñaan moom su jógee pour unite Gambia aw follow him. Man ko gërëm di ko ziaré dene ñu respect ko saagaati du ko saaga ñu de duga si media bi xam naa leen ñëw ma fi pour jaay Baw Senu man du ma jaay Baw Senu suma papa la waaw suma papa la bu leen ko saaga kilifa duñ ko dee saaga président Barrow man wala jël nga dem 90 days in prison with $100,000 in fine suñ defee léegi boobu wax ma nga criticize mun nga criticize olu boppam so olu sa boppa nga yar doo saaga ñëpp buñ disrespect xale yi na xale respect kilifa respect xale yi suñ defee yónne bi ne laaj wax dafa mii su fekk wax naa dara dafa it's not right is from Seytaan laanatullaahi bu baax mi ne di laay waaw man nag maa ngi wax last one bi Tulum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Batili. I think you have completed the program, in my opinion. And I'd just like to build on what you have said, especially when it comes to our party leader and Secretary General. He has been an inspiration. He has been a leader that has... Because I believe as a leader, what you envision is that you have a legacy. And not just a legacy, but you also have young people to carry on the baton when you pass it over. I think, Honorable Hussein Oda, Your Excellency, I think you're proud that you have had young people in your party who are able to push on the message and push on the fight, even if you retire. We also thank you on behalf of all the young people in the party for paving the way for all of us. It's not all political parties you go to where young people are elected into positions like mayors and councillors and members of parliament. For giving us that opportunity as young people in the party, I speak on all of their behalf to say thank you very much. And can you please give them a round of applause? Also, I'd like to also acknowledge all members of other political parties here and our independent supporters. Mr. Kelly spoke on behalf of Ahmed Bensouda. From there, we will go on to invite the press to ask questions, but we will want the questions to be mainly based on the manifesto and what the mayor has presented here. We'll want to keep it short, and it will be of very limited time. Thank you very much. Any questions? Ali, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ali. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from the media, please? Any questions from the media? Yeah, so whoever wants to ask questions has to come forward. We'll give you the mic and you can introduce yourself, the media house you're from, and ask your question. Please come forward. You can just stand here, please.
Good morning, everyone. I am from the Point newspaper. I have a question for Mr. Talib. And I understand that KMC is one of the biggest municipalities in the Gambia. And most of the businesses within the country are based within the country municipality. And we have energy problem in this country. Sometimes we find very difficult to have satisfactory energy. So I just want to ask Mr. Bensouda, what is his plan in terms of energy? Do you have any plan to provide sufficient energy for the people of Anki municipality? And what kind of energy do you want to bring forward?
Thank you for that question. I think as far as energy production or distribution is concerned, it is a nationalized issue. It is legally solely under the purview of the central government. We see in other countries where there's more devolution of power and a more decentralized system of governance, municipalities can produce energy and distribute. I've visited sister cities where municipalities have production power plants, etc. Unfortunately, in the Gambia, as of now, energy production and distribution is centralized as far as the law is concerned. However, I will add to what you're saying that if Gambia is serious about development and industrializing, government must do better as far as energy production and distribution is concerned. When the new Gambia was formed, we were told that there will be partnerships with Senelec in Senegal. There will be partnerships through the OMVG project, and that power shortages will no longer exist. But as we see still today, the power cuts are happening several times a day, and it does disrupt business, it does disrupt production and industry, and residences. And I think the biggest complaint we're receiving these past few days, of course, is the cost of energy itself. The National Water and Electricity Company announced a 36% increase in the cost of electricity. I think this is now a very, very, very big concern for our residents and communities who have low incomes and are vulnerable. And energy is one of their biggest costs. So we would ask government to work on it and bring the cost down to pre-April levels, or even bring it down even further. Because when you compare Gambia to the rest of the world, we definitely have one of the highest energy costs. And to just add as well, water is a big problem. Almost 60% of the communities we visit say they do not, or 3 a.m., they will not have water pressure. So I think this is a big cause of concern for the most, if I may add, KMC should be the most livable place in the Gambia. So if 60% of our residents cannot get water, I think that is not telling well about this country. So I think water is a basic right, and government must work hard to fix that problem. Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself and the media house you're from and ask your question? Unless, please keep it to the manifesto.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dauda Balde. I work for the FAST Network. Looking at point 3, which is affordable housing, which you include in your manifesto. But I would just like to ask, for the past 5 years, what has the council do in terms of making this possible? And then, at the moment, as we speak, there are people in KMC who are already displaced. And then you talk about expansion of roads and other infrastructures, and this will undoubtedly affects people living in the kind of municipality council. And in most cases, these people who are affected are low-income earners. So what measures are you going to put in place? Because this is, we are approaching the rainy season. Assuming that you win this place, how are you going to prioritize the people who are already displaced within your council? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Affordable housing, like you rightly said, is a big problem in the municipality. There's already many displaced people. One, because of the disasters that have struck, especially the last rainy season, where we experienced large flooding in many vulnerable areas. Now, the council, about 10 years ago, used to be in charge of the rent tribunal, but that was moved before we came into office to the Kanifing Magistrates Court. So as far as regulation is concerned, as far as rent disputes are concerned, we no longer have the power to intervene. This is why we thought about a solution, how to control these rent prices. And it came to basic economics. If the demand is way more than the supply, prices naturally rise. So how do we counter it is to bring about a supply, and this is why we have come up with this idea to bring about our own affordable housing. But we are not reinventing the wheel. When you travel to the more developed countries, many councils provide council flats or affordable housing. So this is a norm in many areas. We were hoping that the Social Security Finance Housing Corporation would have been the one to do this, but we know for many years they have not developed any new estates. And the estates they do develop are not catering for these low-income households. So this is why we have brought about this plan. Now, as far as road infrastructure is concerned, like I said, we have built roads in partnership with Gumworks, and 1 or 2 roads we built with council financing. But remember, in our first term, our priority was waste management. And now that we have that almost fixed, we are shifting gears to road infrastructure. In the interim, to do any major project in roads would be a waste, because the roads we are trying to construct are high-quality roads. These are asphalt roads, and this is through project plan and implementation, which has a lifetime. So we are going to work on that. Now, in terms of vulnerable families who have been displaced, based on the last disasters that have struck, KMC works closely with the NDMA, and we have a disaster mitigation budget. One is prevention, and the other one is to provide relief. As far as prevention is concerned, everybody sees that KMC hires an excavator annually to ensure that the riverine areas and the canals are completely dug out to ensure the water flows. This is a relief is concerned. The council has an NDMA will identify victims, and we will create relief by procuring things such as clothing, mattresses, and food items to help them in their situation. But what we are saying, this is a manifesto for the next 4 years that will provide quality and much needed development in many of the needed areas.
Okay, good morning. I am Parlamin Fati of the LSTV. Mr. Bensouda, during your deliberation, I heard you made mention of having the plans of possibly working on 7 identified markets. Are these markets identified, the 7 markets you already identified? If yes, do you have any of those markets that are on top of your wish list? And secondly, during your deliberation, I don't know whether I didn't get it,
I didn't heard you made mention of youth and sports. When you are elected or re-elected, do you have any plans for youth and sports? Thank you.
Thank you so much. As far as the markets that we have identified, 7 of them, yes. We have identified 7 of these markets. 6 of them we already own the lands. 1 of them we have to purchase the land. And I believe the transaction has already started. The markets are called Fajikunda Market, which is the land we are purchasing currently. There's Bundunkakunda Market, or they call it Marseille. We plan to turn it into an ECOWAS market. There's the Abukom Market, which we plan to move the Sandika to, so that it can be the new Sandika. We have the Mbaripa Dembo in Serakunda. We have Bakote Tipagaras Market. We have the Bakau Market, which we wish to redevelop, and the Fajara Fruit Market. So these are the 7 identified markets as far as our... Yes, youths are at the center of our development. Now, as far as employment, the council has directly employed about 400 youths over the last 4 years. However, the council has a limited capacity to employ people. What we can do is to stimulate economic development or to encourage youths in business. And we have been doing that through our $20 million Youth Revolving Fund that supports youths in small businesses, in skills trade, etc. We are also building skill centers. Recently, we opened the $9 million Bakote Skill Center, which we did in partnership with the Youth Empowerment Project. That skill center has state-of-the-art tailoring equipment for youths interested in fashion and design. I spoke about, of course, the municipal library we are building and the networks we will construct as part of that community library network. Now, the parks, we are creating 8 parks. One we did in partnership with Africell, and it is fully utilized. Every day you pass by a traffic light, there's always a competition or activity there. We have also taken the opportunity through our EU-funded project to develop 7 new parks. We are developing parks in Bakau, Talinding, currently under construction, Kotu, Bunukakunda, Kanifing Estate, and Bakote will come online as well. These parks have all the funding. They will boast a football pitch, 6-a-side football pitch, outdoor gym, a solar borehole to keep it sustainable. We have also recently embarked on trying to develop the mini stadiums at our zones. We know a few decades back, all the zones, all the mini parks were under the control of KMC, but were later handed to the sporting committees of the various zones. KMC has 5 zones. We have Manjai, Bakau, Serakunda Central, Serakunda West, and East. So these are the 5 zones in KM. We have recently succeeded in getting one of the zones back through a partnership project, and this is the Sueso, Serakunda West. We have agreed with them and Africell to develop a $100 million mini stadium that will boast a track and field, state-of-the-art sound system and stage, pavilions, volleyball, basketball courts, restaurants, administrative buildings, shops, etc. So I think what we are doing in youth and sports, nobody or ministry is doing that in the Gambia.
All right, thank you very much. This is Esaba from West Coast Radio. First of all, I would beg your pardon if you might have mentioned during your statement I was a bit late. But going through what you provided us with, I haven't seen any area, a specific area where you seek to, where you want to address the issues of persons with disabilities, with people physically challenged. Do you have any plans for them?
Thank you for that. I think what we have done for persons of disability, I wouldn't say nobody has done, but I think it's very rare. We did not only give them a chance to get facilities from council, but we gave them representation at the council. I think this is the first time in the history of Gambia where a council or a mayor has nominated a person of differently able to come and represent their constituents. And the first person we nominated was Ibrahim Okolli, who later had to travel for medical reasons. And the second person currently sitting at the council is Momodu Bahum. Is Momodu Bahum here? No. Oh, he's not here. So Mamadou Bahum is the current councillor representing the differently able. The reason we believe that is a better strategy is because whatever council tries to implement or in our budget, Mamadou Bahum always ensures we cater for people who are differently able. Like I've just said about our bus system, I cannot take credit for trying to bring a bus that caters for them. It is Bahum who argued for that at the council level. Recently, we are constructing Assembly Hall at Charles Jau Memorial Academy. Mamadou Bahum, based on his representation at council, asked that when we develop this Assembly Hall, it must have a toilet that is equipped for persons of differently able and has ramps for access. So, like I said, that one move of bringing him on board will change the fate of how council treats people of differently able moving forward. Is this UDP media?
This is Bakari Kamara from Kamara Official. Mayor, we've heard you talk about 7 new markets. And we understand that these past 5 years, you have also invested and kind of changed the face look of the markets. But yet still, we are told that you didn't do anything. Would those other markets be a new one that will be owned by you? Mayor, you are corrupt, are you? Can you clear it out?
I thought this was UDP media. You're supposed to be friendly. Huh? All right, thank you for that. So we have constructed 4 new markets during our time. I mentioned them, Talinding Jilifitikunda market, which through the leadership of Councillor Karamo Sise, who advocated for it at the council level, we have fully built from the ground up. I was actually there yesterday. The market is 3 years old and is still looking very great and very good. We are currently constructing Talinding Yafatu Njai market. We have finished constructing Latrikunda Sabeji market. The first phase was in partnership with Gumworks, and the council did the second phase. Now the first phase was 72 shops. The second phase is 100 shops. Right now, our Kotu market is almost complete. I was there 2 days ago, and right now we're just painting that market. So these are the 4 new markets we constructed. Now, like I rightly said, when we came, we met 19 markets in KMC that were all dilapidated and falling apart, completely neglected. We had to rebuild or rehabilitate all of these markets, and starting with the main market in KM, which is Serakunda market, which rehabilitation also had an expansion of 30 shops and a shed, and we completely constructed roads around the market. We also included CCTV cameras, a lighting system, etc. So we have rehabilitated most of the markets in KMC. Latrikunda Yiringanya market was rehabilitated under the leadership of Councillor Musa Ba. We have rehabilitated the Bakau market under the leadership of Councillor Lamin Diba, Ibo Town market under the leadership of Councillor Habib Sise, and currently we are rehabilitating London Corner. So every market that is dilapidated, we try to make sure it is fit for purpose and a quality market. Old Joshuang market as well, which was the first market we rehabilitated under the leadership of Councillor Bajunkumba Dukure. So we have done a lot as far as market infrastructure is concerned. You do not have to take it from us. Go on the ground and ask the vendors and the women. The other question, I don't think I should answer that. There's no point. I think a corrupt person, there should be an evidence on them, or they should be answering at the courts. KMC has invested heavily in enforcement, in, of course, closing all the loopholes to ensure we have a zero tolerance for corruption. And I think we are the only institution or government body in the Gambia that you always hear is actively fighting corruption. The establishment and appointment committee chair is here, Habib Sise with his vice, Lamin Jamme. Over their time, they have dismissed 10 staff for corrupt practices. And of course, I guess your question is motivated by the recent scandal in KMC. But remember, we are the ones who reported corruption, and if we were corrupt ourselves, I don't think we would dare report that. So I think the courage and the bravery comes from the fact that we know we have run the council as a transparent council under the principles of our party, which is accountability and transparency. Thank you.
TV2. I also work with King FM. According to the manifesto, your topmost priority is road construction. Why this was not the case in your first time, looking at the terrible condition of feeder roads in the KM?
Thank you. I think it's a good question, and I think it's a good opportunity to clarify. Like I said, when we came into KMC, our top priority was waste management. If you remember, in 2017, there was a waste management crisis in the municipality. The dump site was closed because the residents of Bakote had a sit-down strike, and they barred anybody from entering the dump site because of the poor management there. All our markets were inundated with waste, and we had a big crisis at our hands. So naturally, when I came with the council, everybody's top priority was how to solve the waste management crisis, and thus the heavy investment in the collection, the Mbalit project, and of course the Bakote dump site. In councils, we work with limited resources, so you have to prioritize where you put your resources. The two other top priorities for our residents, aside from the waste management, is water and roads. Water is actually a higher priority than roads, but remember, we do not control water supply. That is monopolized by NAWEC. But our councillors, all of them, are always engaging with NAWEC to ensure that the pressure is fixed. But that is under their mandate. We don't control them, we don't regulate them, we don't have power over them. All we can do is try to support their activities. The council over the years, actually, through the councillors' efforts, have pulled pipes, have created boreholes, have created extra length of piping to give their residents access. But remember, we cannot build a borehole in every household. And what NAWEC needs to do is to ensure that their water distribution system works, and they have enough pumping systems to push the water to households. Now, the roads, of course, now that we have fixed the waste collection, water is not under our mandate. Roads are going to be now the heaviest investment we're going to make over the next 5 years.
We will take 2 more questions and then complete the program by 12 o'clock. By 12 noon. Okay, before I give you another chance, let me ask if there's anyone who hasn't asked. There are no more questions from anyone?
One more.
Okay. Come, yeah, you can come forward.
Thank you, sir. Once again, I am Suleiman, one from the point. Mr. Bensouda, in your manifesto, you talk about transport service for the county municipality. And I have observed that there is a constituent within the county municipality, is a car park. Of recent, or over the past years, the transport union, the Uganda Transport Union, have been engaged with the Uganda government with regard to car parks. And then looking at the KMC, you see the Bakau car park at Westfield, you see the Serekunda, the Brikama car park at Serekunda, you also see Bamboo. These are all not car parks in my view. Vehicles just, or commercial drivers just come back in streets, obstructing people's movement. Is there any plan in the Bensouda Manifesto to come with a central car park in the country municipality?
I think this is a good question. You're right. The garages and the car parks that exist in KMC are not car parks. These are just empty plots of land that taxis utilize. Over the years, there has not been any serious effort to create car parks. When we came, we actually wrote to the Ministry of Lands and Local Government requesting for 3 pieces of land. One was in Abuko, one was in Kamalo on the way to Banjul, and the other one was in Kotu. We do not only want to create car parks, we also want to create areas that are car zones for mechanics and selling. But this idea was rejected by the Ministry of Lands. This was in 2019, 2020. And since then, we have not been able to revitalize it. But when we come back, what we are discussing at the moment is if we do not get the allocations from government, then we will look at the possibility of purchasing land or entering partnerships and creating our own car parks and our own zones. So I think this is where we will end up. But our plan was to create a concept called Car City and a car park central. The Car City was going to be a place where all car salesmen can centralize their car sales, and of course where all the mechanics that are sprawling in our communities and creating a nuisance can centralize their workshops. So anybody who needs cars or needs mechanics can go to one central zone and get all your needs there. The ECOWAS garage in Abuko is part of our plans to develop, not just as a truckers garage, but also as a Sandika, and that is part of our Abuko Market Sandika plans. So yes, this is actually something that we will focus. And may I add, I am the first mayor to ever appoint a councillor representing transporters, and that is Tobaski Sibi. Tobaski, you can rise. So that is Tobaski Sibi. Before him, it was Mohamed Drame, but our council is the first council to ever have a nominated councillor representing people in the transport industry. So this is all to ensure that we bring about plans at the council level to solve the transport woes in the municipality.
We will take the final question and close it.
Thank you very much. I am Abdullah Dabo, Paradise TV. And me, going by your manifesto, it requires heavy investment, I say. And that's only possible if we also have the support of KM residents, that's by paying their taxes.
Of course.
And going by looking at the various platforms that you've been to, you've made mention that a good number of KM residents don't pay their tax. I want to know, is there any plan that you have to improve the tax collection by council members, council staff, and also, if so, why isn't it prioritized going by your manifesto?
Thank you. That is a good question, and I thank you for keenly following my programs. I do say it often that many KM residents are not paying their rates, their property rates, and this is because we don't have a good mapping system or addressing system to ensure that the enforcement follows. The reason is not in our manifesto because since we started complaining, we have actually set up a GIS unit that is now functioning. We are now going to go to the second phase, which is the street naming and addressing. So it is something that is already under implementation. This is why it is not in our manifesto. So hopefully over the next few years, we will move to having the placards instead of the Google Plus codes to actually have street names and addressing. Also, of course, we want to ensure the development is reaching every doorstep. It's also an encouragement for tax compliance. But most of our projects will be financed through direct tax funding. We already have it in our budget and in our plans. But some of them that I mentioned will be solicited through investments and partnerships with the private sector. We have also applied currently for many grants. As I speak, we have applied for almost $15 million worth of grants. Some of them have advanced to the second stage. We have actually got notification that one of our grants has succeeded. I cannot say exactly because we want the official notification, but it's a grant that should go to the Bakote Dome side of $50 million. I've been told that it's advanced. Also, we have jointly applied for a grant with the Ministry of Lands and Local Government of 50 million euro from the European Investment Bank, and it is at pre-feasibility. But like I said, the markets that we plan to develop has a woman focus, and that's why I talked about the kindergarten centers we intend to develop in these markets. We also have a lot of urban farming in KM, which is dominated by women gardeners, and we have a farmers rep that is dedicated to ensure resources are pumped towards reinforcing their gardens with fencing, creating water supply through boreholes, and of course helping them with fertilizer, etc. So rest assured, all our activities, most of our activities have a woman focus there, and this is why we have a women's and children councillor, and she's right here, Councillor Bine Marong. You can lay your hand so people can see.
On that note, I'd like to say a big thank you. We're thanking everyone who has gathered here today to grace this occasion, especially our partners. And I've seen a very important, very important partners here who are the Federation of the Disabled, They are people that we have worked with for a very long time. And we are happy that we have had an inclusion perspective when it comes to Cardiff municipality. And we're glad that they've seen themselves in our work, and this is why they're here today. I also like to thank my colleague councillors, because without them, the work of the mayor, or without us, the work of the mayor is incomplete. The mayor cannot be everywhere, but it's the councillors that are on the ground and are making sure that the work of KMC continues to prosper. I'd like to also thank the national executive members of our party, and Uncle Falang Sonko, our party chairperson in the Cardiff municipality. I think he can brag to be the most successful chairman the UDP has had in KMC, delivering 16 seats. For being here and accompanying his brother, our party leader and secretary general. I'd like to thank our party, fellow party members from different political parties who are here today. I'd like to thank our members of the KMC regional executive. I'd like to thank our independent supporters and members of the public who have been with us from the beginning to the end. I'd also like to thank the media fraternity who are everywhere we invite them, because the work we do as politicians wouldn't reach, even though it's on the ground and people can feel it, but it wouldn't reach the general public without the media. And the general public who have taken their time to come here, our ward executive members, our constituency executive members, fellow politicians, and our ever-great team who are in the background, the protocol and the secretariat of the mayor's campaign team who have been doing a fantastic work. On that note, I'd like to say a big thank you and hope we have been able to learn one or two things from this great program. On my behalf and on behalf of the mayor, and we hope the incoming mayor for a second term in the Cardiff municipality, I'd like to thank you all and tell you all that we hope this is the beginning of many partnerships to come, and that in our second term we will be able to work with more people, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of their gender, and regardless of where they come from. For example, we've had great partnerships with the like of lawyer Hassan Martin. We've had great partnerships with the likes of MC Cham. We have great partnerships with the likes of Nene Frida Gomez and many more people. And we'd also like to thank members of the United Democratic Party who have helped this party from inception all to where we are today. On that note, I'll say a big thank you, and Nyato, forward, and inshallah we'll come back here on the 20th of May to celebrate the great victory that the party will accomplish on election day. Thank you very much.